at the start of the season. Always goes down a treat, but we are back and just loading into the Rift as we speak. Yep.
Oh, wait. Wait, I'm not. I fucked up. What time are you on, Jordan? Oh, okay. Give me a second. Okay, now I'm at 10. Sorry.
Okay, and as we just are starting on the roof, we're just going to have a look and see if we get any spicy items from the players, and it doesn't look too crazy at the moment. Irelia's still sat in base, same as Xayah, so it's a bit of a slow start for both players. Xayah hasn't actually bought any items.
Oh, that's a bit interesting. We'll see if Zanidar realizes that he messed up a little bit. Right now, it doesn't seem to be the case. So, a little bit of a stage jitters, you can say, maybe, the first game of the season.
Yeah, it might be exactly that, and we'll see if it's getting close to the time where you can't even recall at the moment. So we're going to hope that he does pick that up just before. Otherwise, they might be in a bit of trouble for this laning phase with no items, especially against the Lucian.
And it looks like he has not realized. So, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to assume we're gonna play a little storyline here that he has actually got a really special early cheetah recall planned, and that's why he's built nothing at all so far.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't really have the futures market tech on him. So.
Well, we've got Fiora in a little 1v1 here against the Aurelia. Aurelia already having to flush out a level 1. A great little cheese there from Fiora to start the game off.
Okay. 151. Yeah. I just looked at the stream.
A summoner has disconnected.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm 154. Should we just catch up to you or?
231, yeah. Okay, yeah, we got that sort of disconnection. And then just hit play, I guess, yeah.
I'm still waiting.
26, 58, 57, 56. Yeah.
57.
Yeah. Cool.
Are we live? Yeah. Oof. Yeah. A little bit of technical difficulties, both from the teams and the stream. Like, we're very sorry for that, but yeah.
We will eventually get everything back together. We've just got a nice little pause going on. I believe that BBK has just disconnected, so they're just trying to sort that out at the moment. And then hopefully the rest of the stream will be absolutely trouble-free. We'll get through it, and everyone will be having a much better time. We did have to skip about a minute worth of gameplay. Nothing realistically has happened. Obviously, Fiora in the top lane has taken over top a little bit with that early flash on the Aurelia, but other than that, everything's looking pretty equal.
Yeah. Do we see any spicy jungle paths? Not really.
We do.
Uh,
It does seem that from what we can see right now, that Java might be looking for a cheeky little level 3 gank on the Akali, which could be a good way to give Victor some pressure in this lane where he might otherwise struggle. Xin Zhao just doing a pretty standard clear so far, and obviously bot lane is under a bit of pressure right now as well because Xayah has a biscuit and nothing else.
Yeah, as well as playing against Lucian and Seraphine with a disconnected support. It's a bit rough for Zanidar and Xavier.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine they're not having the best time right now. Still nothing moved on from the pause yet, but hopefully they'll get there in just a moment.
Yeah, how is our Twitch chat doing?
Yeah, how is everyone doing today? If everyone's alright, enjoying the show so far. We're just sat back in the lobby right now waiting for everyone to reconnect it. I'm still very excited. Hopefully, once Zai gets back and gets some items, we'll see some explosive gameplay. And it does look like Xin Zhao has finally reconnected, so we're hoping that's the only person who disconnected. I assume he's just doing a quick ping test.
Yeah, and we're waiting for the R's in chat. Still, but yeah.
And yes, this guy is an OTP Aurelia player. Luckily for him, this first game, players were unable to ban for the first 3 bans, so some of the players did get to pick whatever they wanted, and that's why we're seeing a lot of players today on their pocket picks. We probably won't see this for the rest of the series today, so it'll be interesting to see what they pick up in return when there aren't the comfort picks. They did also manage to get the 4th and 5th ban, which allowed them to ban Set. So I imagine that the Aurelia, other than that early misplay, is going to be very comfortable in this lane once it starts to even out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely we see R's in all chat, so we might finally be in game soon. That's a little bit rough, but we are getting them there soon, hopefully. But yeah.
Just waiting for the other team to respond now. We seem to be, and we are back into game at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Jarvan looking for maybe a level 3 gank here on the Akali, just stepping around the corner, pressuring off the wave, but nothing comes of it, as expected.
Yeah, just a little bit of pressure from the Jarvan to give Victor some safety. Oh. That's a little freeze on my screen.
Yeah, I am the same.
Oh yeah, it always happens after pause, it's okay. Oh. Now we're getting some classic Riot games.
Yeah,
and we're back.
Yes.
Finally, hopefully.
Right. No more issues, guys. This is it.
Yeah, one thing you can see is Fiora is taking over in the top side level 3 to level 2, and I believe Irelia just dinked level 2, so that's a lot of pressure from Long Willy Man in the top side.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be rough for Aurelia because of this early mess up he had there. I'm hoping to see a cheater recall from the Fiora here, really extending that lead. Obviously, Aurelia will not be able to catch up on gold, CS, or XP, but it does look like Fiora is going to do the push to tower and do nothing. So, oh, maybe they're going for
He might find the Jarvan, so that's something, but I don't think he can really catch him.
Yeah, no, I think he just missed that timing. Jarvan is slightly aware that he could be in a bit of trouble here, but just walks it out nice and easily. Does get spotted by the little blue plant, but I think they'll be wasting far too much time if they do go for that.
Yeah, this might mean the double scuttle for Xin Zhao, which is always nice for a jungler. To use the pressure in the lane to get that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. However, I would like to see that Jarvan potentially just recall and go for this bottom scuttle, but it does look like Xin Zhao and Akali are going to go for a little pick on the Victor. The Victor has the flash out, gets the stun, and just burns flash for that little trade there.
Yeah, now it's going to be definitely really hard for the Victor to play versus Xin and Akali without a flash. Possibly maybe a Leona roam as well, so yeah. Looking pretty nice for Esports Wales in the early game.
Yeah, I'd agree. And something obviously we were worried about is the fact that Zyad literally doesn't have an item. But the Garlic Bread just don't seem to be able to push the advantage in the spot lane. I think it is the fact Leona is a absolute powerhouse of a support and just threatens so much, even with Zaya having no AD.
And we'll see a recall from Zaya. Zandiar, finally getting an item, possibly. Or maybe he's just gonna wait for an entire...
The entire mythic item before he buys anything. He buys the Doran's Blade, surprisingly, instead of... He had enough gold there just to go straight for the Noon Quiver. So quite an interesting decision to actually get a bit tankier in this lane, where I believe the best thing to do would have just get the Noon Quiver.
Yeah, and like they have been surviving with like with a small disadvantage, but I still don't think that's big enough considering how far ahead their top side is.
Yeah, no,
in pressure. So yeah,
I definitely agree with that. And an interesting item choice from Irelia, just straight up getting the Bramble Vest. I'm not convinced that this is the way to go against the Fiora here.
yeah, I'm not convinced either. He's just, I guess, those Cramps just decided that he doesn't want Long Willy Man to have any fun. But here's the engage.
Yeah, a little engage from Leona there, just sitting out of vision. He gets the exhaust from Chovers there, but nothing more comes of that. Not enough lockdown. I don't believe the engage was timed quite well enough to get a solid chain of CC.
Still a win on the side of Esports Wales, getting the exhaust out.
Yeah, definitely, and it also gives Zaya a chance to catch up in CS here, and hopefully if he can catch the next wave as well, then they should be evening out. Irelia is still behind by, well, literally double Fiora's CS. Fiora's getting another wave stacking here, so it'll be interesting to see if anything comes of that.
Yeah, and Garlic Bread Mafia's jungler not really able to find anything on the Jarvan. But yeah, he doesn't really have much pressure in the lanes. The Irelia is really far behind in XP and CS to the Fiora. So, like at this point, if Jarvan goes top, that's a really scary Fiora. There's a possibility that they just get 2v1'd. Yeah, and bot lane doesn't really have much lockdown.
No, definitely not until level 6, where they have a bit more CC coming directly from the Jarvan. But for now, I'm liking the fact that Jarvan is managing to stay ahead in CS. Obviously, this Dragon going over to Wales Esports, but it's not the end of the world. It is just a Cloud Dragon, and I'm not sure either team minds that with the scaling from both teams coming in.
Yeah, and we also see the Akali 10 CS ahead, which is not necessarily what you want to see as well. And she dinged the level 6, so...
Yeah, Akali doing exactly what I'm saying here, just sitting in her shroud for the entirety of the exhaust duration. Jarvan does hit the knock up here, but it does look like he may be overextended a little bit as Harry explodes on the Rift for first blood there, executing the Jarvan and taking him down in a 2v2 situation.
Yeah, definitely an overstep from Jarvan. Looked like a little bit of a miscommunication because we see Yuki walking back and the Jarvan going in, so I'm not sure if that was definitely a little bit of a mistake from the jungler. And we see her all-in in the bot lane.
Another all-in here as Zaya tries to catch up to Lucian. Leona is tanking as much damage as she can possibly do. Gets another stun here, but Lucian potentially going to have too much damage here, but no, doesn't manage to get in range. Just a nice trade there. And yeah, going back to what you said and what we said in Champion Select is that the Jarvan does really struggle. But it just looks like Leona's flashing on the Lucian here. Lucian then flashes in return, getting a nice one-for-one trade there. Just Harry coming in, talking about an explosive player. Steps forward, flashes forward, hits the E on the Seraphine. Seraphine not allowed to flash as she flashes over the wall last second and is now 1 HP. The fight is still going on. Irelia now holding the stun for Just Harry, but he manages to get out where double ult from Irelia comes in there, and that's a double kill for Irelia. It looks like it's going to be the triple here. Can she get it? It flash feathers, but it doesn't work. But it does look like she may get the kill on the Jarvan.
And that's a trade back from Zandiar and the TP from Fiora, so they shut down the Irelia right back down.
Yeah, and Wales Esports responding to everything really well here. It looks like they have the initial engages with Just Harry putting in a lot of work at the moment.
Yeah, Just Harry played that really well. The sidestep on Irelia stun. Dodged everything he could, sadly goes down in the end, but getting a lot of work done. And even though Toastcramps just got some kills with the TP, he's now almost even with the Fiora, but the XP difference is still there.
Yeah, and one thing I am a little concerned about is just this lane swap that's going on right now. I feel like it's going to relieve a lot of the pressure from the Irelia because they're going to be missing a whole wave of XP here because nobody has teleport. Bot lane's going to get a bit further ahead, and while the Lucian didn't do too much in that last fight, as Lucian gets to his mythic item, he's going to become a lot more relevant a lot quicker.
Yeah, although Zaya with a little bit of an item advantage, having both the boots and the pickaxe to just a Moonquiver and the Crit Cloak from Lucian.
Oh yeah, that is very true. Just having the extra AD is definitely going to be an advantage for Zaya, but I do think that once Lucian gets that Gale Force, assuming that he's going to go Gale Force, he's going to be, for the time being, an absolute monster going into the mid game.
Yeah, and let's see what Harry can do versus Victor. Now he has fallen behind in XP a little bit because I believe Yuki hasn't moved from mid lane during that
Yeah,
fight.
and Fiora going in a 1v2 situation, but she's brave enough. She knows she wants it. She gets the 4th hit onto Toast Crumbs, getting all the healing from her little circle, and now Xin Zhao comes in and it's 2v2. It looks like Toast Crumbs is going to go down. Xin Zhao misses the W, but Fiora hits multiple vitals, and at the same time, bot lane's fighting. Leona just tanking through the entire culling, does not care, gets the stun onto the Lucian. Zaya instantly uses her ultimate and is going to recall these feathers and get a double kill here as she just slices and dices both Lucian and Seraphine.
Yeah, Esports Wales just winning on every side of the map. Looking like a little bit of a stomp at this point.
I'm very impressed with that Fiora play in the top lane, having the confidence to go in 1v2, knowing that you can survive for long enough to get the Xin Zhao in and get that kill, and at the same time force a play on the bot side, knowing there's a 2v2 and you just have the solid advantage with the ultimates available.
Yeah, it was really nicely played by Willie, dodging the EQ from Jarvan and proccing the Vitals really quick on the Irelia. And yeah, it's looking like Esports Wales is taking over the map. Xin Zhao just finishing the Herald, so he can give some extra tower plates to one of his solo laners, I assume.
Yeah, and what we're going to be looking for now is Victor to potentially try and start moving around the map and use his power spike that he's going to get very soon from his laser. But it doesn't look right now like Irelia is having a great time, but she is trading relatively well into the Fiora, all things considered.
Yeah, one thing you gotta see is Fiora already on a Gold Drinker to just a Vamp Scepter and Tabai from Irelia, which is really scary.
Yeah, definitely, and also the fact that you've got to remember that when Fiora ults, not only does she have the item advantage, but Gold Drinker allows her to proc one of her vitals on the Fiora without actually auto-attacking, giving her an even quicker ultimate reset.
Oof. And those trades are going to hurt. Also, the wave pushing into Fiora, that's like... The advantage from Long Willy Man is just disgusting.
Yeah, I think Toast Crumbs is just going to have to potentially give up the wave, walk down and see if they can force something on the Akali here, because all it takes is a little bit of an engage like Long Willy's going for now, and he's already got 2 vital procs. He's got the 4th one, Gold Drinker hits, and that's just a clean kill, barely taking any damage on the Fiora. And Fiora, like you said, can eventually win out this side lane, but if she wins in the early game, you're going to be in trouble for the whole game.
Yeah. Toast Crumbs being really confident, blind picking the Irelia, and Long Willy Man just punishing him really hard for the confidence. And another Drake going in into Esports Wales pockets. Let's see what all we get. It's gonna be the Ocean.
Yeah, we love the Ocean Drake. The Mountain Drake completely closing off the game, but getting that Ocean Drake does mean that there is more of a potential for a comeback, so I'm more excited with the Ocean Drake coming up as just Harry just going in now on the Victor. He has the level down, but he has a massive item advantage right now. As Victor tries to run away with a phase rush, he misses the E onto the Victor, and it does look like that's going to be the end of the chase, but a good trade from just Harry nonetheless.
Yeah, I think Harry went with the second part of the ultimate maybe a little too quick, because I believe he was still exhausted, but still forces the lane opponent out of the lane, and he will get some, maybe even a tower plate. Let's see where the Herald... Oh. Well, Jamie BBK didn't drop the Herald before 14 minutes, so there's not gonna be any tower plates taken. Which is a bit unfortunate.
he's still more than happy just to drop the Herald, take it first tower. Fiora goes in for an all-in on the Aurelia and does manage to get the flash out.
Yeah, and those Grams really struggling, which is like, you should never be able to. Oh, let's see this all in.
I think Fiora got a bit overexcited then, seeing the opportunity, going for the Reddit play, but not quite there. And now you got Just Harry and Xin Zhao coming up. Just Harry misses the E. Xin Zhao actually gets stunned. This could be a 1-for-1 trade, which will be perfect for Toast Crumbs considering the situation. And Toast Crumbs does get the 1-for-1 trade. So well played there to actually get something back out of that and waste some time from Just Harry.
Yeah, definitely good for Toast Crumbs to at least get the kill, but he's gonna lose some more minions, so it's gonna be farther behind the in XP, which is really unfortunate. Off meta, best meta, trying to do something on the bot side, but really nicely played by Esports Waves bot lane, just staying back, not giving any openings.
Yeah, no, I'm actually really enjoying the fact that Esports Wales, while they're ahead, they're also respecting where they are weak at currently, and with the Xayah obviously having that lack of mobility as you spoke about around the Jarvanot, it's still a very dangerous game to play, so I'm very glad they're just playing around Long Willy at the moment, allowing him to keep pushing his lead and just taking advantages where they need to rather than where they feel they have to.
Yeah, and we see Long Willy just doesn't care anymore, just walking into the jungle, being counter-jungling the enemy team, taking the red buff, taking the Raptors.
Yeah, and this is the perfect thing you want to do as a top laner. Just, if you are ahead, the one thing you don't want is the enemy jungler in your top side, and there is no motivation for Jarvan now to be in the top side of the jungle, meaning he's going to get even more time to himself in this 1v1. As Just Harry goes in for another 1v2, does hit the E on the Victor, decides not to take it back. But here we go with the re-engaged Leona with the solar flare. Akali jumping in the 2v3 now as she goes for the execute on the Victor. The Xin Zhao does actually get it with that third auto attack, but that's still a great kill on the Victor.
Yeah, Harry seeing two people coming into him. He likes those odds. Forces a flash out.
Yeah,
kills Yuki anyway.
And you're definitely right. I'm loving the confidence you spoke to me about with Just Harry. Just an explosive player, knows his limits, actually takes the time to really feel out his champion, and knows with his Akali that he can stall out in these situations and actually give his team time to take an advantage. And not being too greedy and being overly aggressive for these kills. He could have taken that first E on the Victor, but actually played it a bit slower and waited for Leona to get there, which was beautiful.
And let's see what can be done by Garlic Bread Mafia. What do you want to see at this point?
I would love to see the Victor just at this point being given the majority of the waves. I would like to see Victor at 170 CS right now, giving him a chance to actually deal some good damage. But Just Harry being very aggressive here, but just knows he can get away. He's got Proto Belt, he's got his Shroud, and there's nothing they can do about it. They have no true sight on the enemy team.
Yeah, and all of this is pretty easily dodged by Akali, so unless you get a really nice lockdown with both the Jarvan and the Seraphine, I believe Harry will not have the hardest time getting out. He also has a stopwatch now, so it's even harder to lock him down.
Yeah, it's pretty much all up to the Seraphine at this point, with the Akali just trying to hit as the Akali engages a very nice charm with her ultimate. Just gonna lock her down that way, and that way you'll be able to actually keep her in a position and won't let her use her Shroud straight away. But other than that, at the moment it's going to look very rough. Going to have to see some more sweepers on the side of Garlic Bread just to try and at least scout her out in her Shroud so you have somewhere to aim your skill shots.
Yeah, but we see Esports Wales transitioning into more of a 1-3-1, because no one can really match the Fiora, and it's really hard to match the Akali as well. Victor can just clear the waves, but it's gonna be a Drake for Garlic Bread Mafia potentially.
Oh, but here comes a nice ultimate from Seraphine. This is the exact lockdown we're talking about. Xayah has no chance to move whatsoever. Jarvan just flags and drags onto her, and Lucian culls down the Leona. That's a beautiful 2-kill pickup as the dragon spawns.
Yeah, Garlic Bread Mafia Academy showing a little bit of life, getting the dragon, slowing down the scaling on the side of Esports Wales.
Yeah, and Victor obviously being a late game control mage, you're wanting that time to scale, and that's another 5 minutes for the side of Garlic Bread Mafia, where they actually get time to get that Victor into a place where he is going to be very relevant. But Just Harry just jumping straight into the Lucian. The Lucian you don't understand, it's Akali, you just can't run away. The execute, and at the top lane it's a 1v2 situation, but Long Willy Man just does not care. Now in a 1v3, blocks the stun with the riposte. In a 1v4 now, just going to keep going on the Jarvan, but he flags and drags away. Victor landing the stun. It looks like Aurelia is going to pick up the kill, and Victor actually gets the shutdown, which is amazing for the Victor.
Yeah, it's really huge. Long William and doesn't respect the weak side, and not seeing all the champions on the map get shut down. That's definitely a lot of gold coming into Yuki's pocket. And yeah, we'll see what he can do with that.
Yeah, you can definitely feel the excitement from these players as I'm just Harry, just going on the Lucian as you'd expect an Akali to do. But if there's nobody supporting the Lucian, where are the rest of the team? And that's exactly where they were, 4-manning the top side and giving Aurelia time to get back into the game. And like you said, the shutdown on the Victor there, giving him a substantial amount of gold. He's sat on 2,000 gold at the moment, so hopefully on this next back he'll be able to actually start dealing some big damage to these carries.
Yeah, I still gotta respect Long William man trying to go for the 1v4 outplay. Being pretty close to taking one with him, but yeah, maybe he shouldn't have been there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've always got to respect these Fiora players who are willing to go above and beyond, because you get that 1 in 10 chance that you are going to get a lovely play and it was going to be game ending, but unfortunately wasn't quite able to execute. It was a nice flag and drag from Jarvan there just to get the knock up and get himself to safety. As Chovas gets engaged on here, and it's Zaya just with the root followed up by all the CC, and at the same time Long Willy Man once again getting engaged on in 1v3. He does riposte the knock up, and it does look like Fiora's going to get away this time.
Yeah, really nice riposte. And Chovas, that's one issue with range supports. If you're looking to get some words, call a friend, don't go alone.
Yeah, definitely far too squishy to be walking into a Leona in a 1v, even in a 1v1. I think Chovas would struggle at the moment, especially with the Moonstone not even having the Shirelias to at least move away a bit quicker. Maybe could have dodged some skill shots there, but you're definitely right. He needs Jarvan with him at all times now if he wants vision.
Yeah, and we see a really nice vision from Esports Wales in the top side, possibly looking for a little bit of a Baron bait soon.
Yeah, and do we think that with the current team that here, with the Aurelia TPing bot lane, that's an interesting teleport. That pretty much gives up all pressure they have for this Baron, so now they can do a 1-4 split and hopefully...
Yeah, that was definitely a weird teleport.
Yeah, not 100% sure what the thought process with that was, but I guess you just don't want Fiora getting that far up. It doesn't look like Wales Esports are going to currently pressure the Baron, maybe not feeling confident enough with the Victor, or you see the Victor damage on the Zaya, they're doing a fair amount.
Yeah, Yuki is starting to hurt a little bit with the Luden's Echo finished, and I believe all of the upgrades on Victor, not quite sure yet.
Yeah, they are starting the Baron here. It's going to be quite interesting as you've got Garlic Bread starting to walk in, and they do just get off of it, maybe testing the waters a little bit there, seeing what they're doing. And we're just waiting on the final upgrade for Victor here. He's only 9 of his Hex cores through at the moment, but as everyone knows, if he starts picking up some kills and assists, that will very quickly turn into the last upgrade.
Yeah, the issue, I guess, with Esports Wales is they don't quite have the DPS yet without the Fiora and Akali to take the Nashor, and don't really have the tankiness either. So
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with that. I would maybe like to see them just 5-man it. Now that Aurelia doesn't have TP, you can pull Aurelia down and then potentially look to set up some waves elsewhere. Akali and Fiora obviously being very strong right now would lead to some very good team fighting. And I'm just Harry looking for the Lucian again. Misses the initial Q. He Gale forces away. He's culling the Akali down. The Akali might not actually be able to do it, but no, he does with the move speed. He gets it, but the blast cone gets him out on 1 HP, and that's a great escape from Lucian, burning the Akali up and relieving some well-needed pressure there. And only in return did he use his heal.
yeah, still a lot of pressure from Harry. Forcing the summoners out, forcing the Lucian out of the play, and this will get them the 3rd Drake, putting them on sole point for Esports Wales, because
yeah, so
Lucian can play. Aurelia is topside, so they are giving up this dragon.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. I mean, Akali, well, obviously having no ultimate right now is definitely stronger than a Lucian, even in that 1v1 scenario. So I think it's good of Garlic Bread just to potentially be clearing out this top side. Hopefully Aurelia will hold the freeze top. Note, she's given into the classic Aurelia clear the entire way, but there is an engage going on, and Leona catches Chovas again. But here we go, we've got the Victor doing some big damage. The Aurelia can't actually keep up with it. And now Chervus hits a big ult, charming 3 people, but it's not enough. I'm just Harry's ultimate is about to come up. He's going to get the execute there. That's some big damage onto the Jarvan. Now the Irelia is stuck in a 1v4 situation, and Akali is just popping off. Victor and Lucian managed to get out, but it's not enough
and that's
damage.
gonna be Baron Nashor for a stylish Zonia at the end. Harry just doesn't need it.
Harry
He
is
doesn't need Zonia.
in a very good place right now, not even having to go to the Baron, just picking up more XP elsewhere before the Baron waves start to crash. And you can see the power of these champions. Like, are really just not able to do enough. And like I said, with the Xin Zhao just creating this massive zone where a lot of ranged champions can't step up, it just gives them so much room to play around.
Yeah, and that's Baron for Team Esports Wales. They have 8k gold advantage. Soul point really in a spot when they want to. And as we said in the beginning, the solo laners being ahead for Esports Wales are doing so much work in this game.
I'm loving the fact that, like you said, they're explosive players and they know when they how to play when they're ahead, and that's exactly what they're doing. Harry just not giving anyone even a moment of breathing room. Every time he has his ultimate up, he's looking for these plays, just constantly forcing them into these situations where they have to fight and just not giving them a chance to actually scale, which is exactly what they want to do at this point.
Yeah, and now Harry likes reading, getting a little bit of a book here. Only 9 pages yet, but I think if he keeps playing like this, he's gonna fill it up real soon.
Yeah, and I think Harry is going to end up writing himself a novel on how he's beaten this team into the ground in this first game. I think that Medjay's is going to be looking very juicy by the end.
Yeah, I personally don't like buying Medjays. Every time I buy Medjays, it's just like, I insta-die every time.
Yeah, I am the exact same. I am probably the worst player at staying alive as it is, let alone when I buy the most staying alive item there is. But I do like the fact he's gone with the Zhonyas and not gone completely greedy, so he does have that survivability if he needs it. And while obviously they do have Baron, this is where Victor does start to thrive with his upgraded laser, even though they are magic resistant now, doing a lot of damage to these minions still. But Fiora getting a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's really surprising that they sent Lucian to deal with the solo laners.
Yeah, I would like to see the Victor dealing with
Yeah.
Fiora a lot more. It just, you know, with the phase rush, it gives him a chance to run away. As long as he doesn't misplay, I don't think he ever dies in the 1v1 and he can just soak the XP.
Especially that Fiora doesn't really have any magic resistance yet. He's going for the Death's Dance next.
Yeah.
So he's playing pretty much fully to match the Irelia in the side lane, but
Yeah, which further like raises your point that obviously with the Victor it doesn't work, but you see the damage. Oh my goodness, the Fiora just 1-2s the Lucian like it's nothing, doesn't take any damage and half health him.
yeah. Let's see how much Esports Wales can get with this Baron. We have 1 minute 37 till Ocean Drake, so they can just keep it up.
Yeah, and I think Fiora obviously just taking down that top tower is finally going to break this open a little bit and start to pressure some more. We want to see whether he's going to take the inhib here, and it does look like he will. And at the same time, red turret at the bot side has been destroyed by Akali, and it just looks like they're slowly being funneled into a free inhib loss here.
Yeah, that's looking really rough for...
Yeah, Jarvan goes for an engage here. That's a big engage actually. The Xayah almost going down. The Xayah is going to go down, but at the same time, the Fiora takes down the Jarvan. And the Xin Zhao is going to take down the Irelia as well. Harry is very close to death, but he does ult out. Leona gets a great stun onto the Victor, and it looks like it's going to calm down a little bit now, but that is going to be 3 inhibitors for Wales Esports.
Yeah, still looking for something.
Yeah, and Fiora almost goes down there, but it manages to get out at the last second. Harry also just Zhonya's again for seemingly no reason, but Victor and Lucian just not doing enough damage. The Xin Zhao re-engages here, but Lucian is doing some damage now, and it does look like they're going to back out finally, and 3 inhibs down for the side of Garlic Bread.
Yeah, they might have lost one member in the Xayah, but they have 3 inhibs open, which is really hard to deal with. Maybe the Victor can clear the waves, although it's still gonna be really hard, and now they will have to deal with the Ocean Soul, Fiora and Akali.
Yeah, so
not really a place where you wanna be.
Already a very sustaining team comp with the Fiora and Akali having a lot of healing in their kit, with the Conqueror, with the healing items, with the Ravenous secondary for the Akali. So it's definitely going to be looking rough here with the Ocean Soul coming up as well. Victor very much likes to be able to poke and have that as permanent damage. Any damage he deals now is going to be a lot less. reliant.
Yeah, and we only see the Oblivion Orb and the Bramble Vest on the Irelia, so not much healing reduction on the team of Garlic Bread Mafia yet. We'll see if Seraphine can maybe get to the Chemtech Putrifier, although I don't think she will be able to.
No, she's only on 160 gold right now with the current item she has, so it's going to be very unlikely unless Wales Esports do throw pretty badly here on this final push to actually get the items she needs to really counteract this Ocean Soul.
Yeah, and Esports Wales just literally has to take it slow, sync up the waves, push in all at all the sides at once, because they have really strong solo laners, and just let's see how clean they can finish it up.
Yeah, definitely. And the only thing I will say is that obviously the longer they do leave it with these 3 inhibs pushing in, and if they are gonna, they've just pinged the Baron, so if they are gonna wait for this Baron, then it will give Garlic Bread a time to actually scale some more, but it does look like they're gonna start pushing in with all 3 waves at the same time.
And let's see if Garlic
Oh, and here we go.
is looking for
Garvin goes for an engage, but he just gets stand up. Xin Zhao tanking so much of the Lucian culling there, just not caring at all. I'm just Harry goes in, actually loses all of his Magi stacks. Say goodbye to your book, my friend, as Xin Zhao goes in onto the Victor here. Also, maybe going a bit too aggressive, but Zaya ults, manages to get some feathers in the air. Fiora is also dealing with a lot right now as Xin Zhao goes down. He has the Gore Drinker. Leona fights, gets the 1-for-1 trade. And the Lucian goes down here, but the Victor and Seraphine are still alive, but the Fiora is just absolutely massive, healing through all the damage here. She does not care. She keeps riposting, she keeps tanking, and it looks like they're just going to go for the end here, and they manage to take the Nexus down.
Whew. Yeah, finally we got there. Really nice play by solo laners from Esports Wales, and yeah, played. Maybe the ending wasn't super clear, but they got there in the end. But you gotta admit, they were in control throughout the entire game.
Yeah, they definitely were. I feel like they had a handle on it from the start. I really like the fact that they didn't care that Toast Crumbs had his Irelia and said, you know what, I'm going to play something that I believe can beat you and I'm confident on. And they took it from the start with a really great cheese at level 1 from Fiora, knowing that Toast Crumbs potentially was going to path that way as someone who covers the red buff, and took full advantage of that. And from that point on, Irelia just struggled. There was never a point in the lane where he was trading evenly because he didn't have flash. He was always concerned that if he misstepped once, that would be the end of the lane.
Yeah, and we can see 20,000 damage from Long Willy Man for 20 on this Fiora. Probably the MVP of this series, although you could of the game, although you could maybe give it to Harry. But yeah, both of the solo laners popping off, and let's see how it will look for the next game.
Yeah, definitely, and I agree with you. I do believe for that game that Long Willy is probably the MVP. Harry had some really explosive and great gameplay, but just not fearing the Fiora and having the respect to pick something like the Fiora into the Irelia, and though it is a skill-based matchup from level 1, is pretty impressive to just take such a strong handle on it. Usually these lanes tend to be actually quite delicate, and Fiora, Willy Man just made it look easy.
Yeah, and I believe we'll go into the break for a little bit. So yeah, don't touch that browser. We'll be back in a second for another game. Still without some bans, but what can you do? Hello, and we are back for the second game of Esports Wales versus Garlic Bread Mafia Academy. Garlic Bread Mafia Academy is still using their emergency sub, so I believe they will once again not have bans for the first three of the Champ Select, and Esports Wales is going back to having all of their bans. And yeah, in the first game we have seen a pretty dominant performance from solo laners of Esports Wales, and generally very nice and controlled game.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely a very nice game. We spoke about the solo laners doing well, but even the bot lane, just like we said previously, playing safe when they needed to play safe, knowing that their top side and mid had the advantages up there, and not pushing themselves to the point where they end up losing a lot. So it was great to see an all-round performance from Wales Esports, but I wouldn't say the Garlic Bread Mafia performed all that badly. I think they did just get outclassed in their solo lanes with a couple of early game mistakes, which really cost them. So if they can kind of work that out over the rest of this series, it could definitely be a very explosive series.
Yeah, we have seen some really nice team fighting on the side of Garlic Bread Mafia Academy, catching out either the bot lane, catching out Long Willy Man at some points. So yeah, let's see if they can do something like this. Although, once again, they will not have bans, so that leaves the Akali open, which is really scary.
It does leave the Akali open, but obviously they do have first pick, and I wouldn't put it past them to just pick the Akali, because the best way to deal with not having any bans is just to take the champion yourself. Obviously, they do have an Akali player as well as who also is on the Aurelia. Maybe Toast Crumbs might be looking to pick up the Akali here just to take it away and also be on a comfortable pick himself.
Yeah, that's definitely something that can happen, and we'll see if Long Willyman has another answer. He showed us that he can punish the blind pick Irelia from Toast Crumbs with the Fiora. So let's see what happens. And that's a Diana ban.
Yeah, I definitely like the Diana ban. Very versatile jungler at the moment. Able to be aggressive in the early game alongside other junglers, but also just great setup with certain team comps, and it would just take away a lot of potential engage from the side of Garlic Bread.
Yeah. And let's see what else will Esports Wales decide to get rid of. I don't think they are really worried about anything that Garlic Bread Mafia showed. Maybe they'll ban the Seraphine because that's definitely a strong champion. Literally all the team fights that Garlic Bread Mafia have won has been out from a really nice anchors from Chovers. So let's say they decide to get rid of that champion.
Yeah, definitely. I think that actually leaving the Seraphine open is going to be very good. I do actually like the Jarvan ban. I think that's not too bad of a ban. Jarvan did, in these late game team fights, although wasn't super damaging, did cause some problems for the side of Wales Esports. So the Zaya did struggle from time to time to actually deal with the engage if he got on top of her. So a nice ban there, just really targeting the jungle because I think that is where a lot of the pressure will come from in this game. So it's a good ban, I believe.
Yeah, as well targeting GBMA's team fights, which is one part of the game that they seem to be a little bit stronger than Esports Wales.
Yeah, definitely. I think
Until Esports Wales got ahead and
yeah, no, but they did. They definitely showed that they can still team fight even from behind. So you're definitely right. Taking away those team fight potentials and playing what they're stronger at, they seem to have located the fact they are stronger in the laning phase. And from game one, it definitely showed that potentially they do have the edge in the laning phase. So kind of getting rid of that.
And they banned the Akali themselves, maybe looking to force those drums on the Irelia again, considering they do have an answer. So yeah, interesting strategy. And Harry still has his LeBlanc, which we can't forget about.
Yeah, that's definitely right, and I think that potentially that might be a little bit of an overkill here because I don't think the Aurelia is going to be picked unless he gets into a comfortable matchup.
And that's a first pick Alistar from Chovers. I'm not really a fan personally. I think there's a lot of champions that you can pick into Alistar and be fine.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Obviously, Leon is still being open. They're happy to Long Willy man, really comfortable in this Fiora by the looks of it. Maybe been practicing it a bit more than we can see, and gonna be happy to blind pick that. I mean, into the Alistar, obviously quite good, but they do swap it over last second to the Zaya.
Yeah, Long Willy Man throwing maybe a little bit of a BM towards those camps, showing that he still has this Fiora in his pocket, that he's not scared. Yeah, and let's see what else. Zaya definitely pretty nice into telegraphed engage with Alistar.
Yeah, and obviously they're very well knowing that currently they can't pick the Irelia because Fiora is open, and I assume in the second rotation Irelia will be banned if they don't pick it. So a bit of a tough situation for Toast Crumbs right now. And Harry on his second signature champion LeBlanc, very, very strong. And once again, a very aggressive and explosive gameplay from him. So it'll be good to see how different his playstyle is on a ranged assassin.
We'll see. That's a Yasuo. However, I believe Respire has a lot of Yasuo games under his belt, so maybe that will be the Alistar Yasuo bot lane. That's what I expect, because I didn't really see Yuki playing much Yasuo.
Yeah,
I'm not quite
Respire.
sure how
Respire.
Zaya versus Yasuo goes.
Yeah, I think it'll be quite interesting. Obviously, after level 6, it can be quite difficult for them to get a solid engage with Zaya's ult, especially with the lowered cooldown. But it doesn't mean it's impossible. And Respire, you are correct, does have a lot of games on Yasuo. He's got a 60% win rate with 110 games played. So definitely comfortable on the Yasuo. And the Orianna as well. So it looks like Garlic Bread are looking at a bit of a wombo combo comp. But I think currently with the champions that Wales have picked, it's going to be quite hard to execute this comp again. It just seems like they're kind of picking what they maybe are comfortable with and don't know how to play against these finicky champions that have a lot of mobility.
Yeah, and that's the Fiora. Blind pick the Fiora doesn't really care about what those scrams can pick. Yeah, it's definitely really hard to look at the Zaya, LeBlanc, and Fiora as what Gallic Mafia already has under their belt.
Yeah, and obviously Toast Crumb's most played champion by far is Irelia, and seems to be more than comfortable picking it into that. They banned the Malphite out, so I assume they just don't want any of these annoying picks that just shut Fiora down for a while. Something I have seen is Garen in Toast Crumb's most played, so maybe he's going to whip out the Garen because that matchup isn't too bad for the Garen. Obviously, with a weird HP threshold advantage, it could make a big difference, but we'll have to see what they pick.
Yeah, that's those scrams is he doesn't have the biggest champion pool. Looking at his solo queue, it's mostly those two, Akali and Irelia, and then the Garen. So we will see if he decides to pick that, or if he decides to maybe first time some champion, or play something he's not as comfortable on.
Yeah, and actually, I really, really do like the Gragas ban here. It's something that obviously could be played top lane as a bit of a tankier Gragas. Not that uncommon in solo queue, and it can be a bit of a pain for Fiora because he doesn't have much telegraph if you're in melee range of him with his E. So getting that kind of out of the way is just another pick, and a Poppy potentially being picked up here.
Yeah, that can be support, that can be jungle, and that's like another champion that can be really annoying for Fiora in the laning phase, with the W blocking the mobility and grounding you for a couple seconds.
And I also really like the tech of Poppy here because Alistar obviously liking to engage with his engage pulverize combo, and Poppy just completely blocks it and doesn't let Alistar get in range. So once again, another way of both Yasuo and Alistar struggling. And it's going to be the Ornn top into the Fiora. I like the matchup for Ornn here. I think that he doesn't really interact with Fiora in any way. And while Fiora does eventually win out the side lane, Ornn is a very strong team fighter.
Yeah, you're definitely right. Although, once again, if Fiora gets ahead in that matchup, it can be really, really hard for Ornn to stabilize. So we will see how it goes. And so far, Long Willy Man has gotten better of those cramps. And we see Echo jungle possibly for off-meta best meta. So they have a really explosive comp as well. Going
they definitely
for
do.
fight again.
I actually like that because, like we said, they seem to be very good at team fighting, and I just like how Wales are drafting. I'm actually very impressed. They have the Trundle counter for the Ornn, who obviously is going to stack a lot of armor and magic resist. Also works very well against the Alistar. His pillar can stop Ornn from ulting. So they're basically playing this game just to shut down the Wombo combo, and also with the Fiora, like we said about in the lane, even if it takes him an extra 10 minutes this time because maybe won't be interacting as much with Ornn, Fiora will naturally be able to side lane better than any of the champions on the side of Garlic Bread.
Yeah, and this time they, like as you said, they have way more tools to deal with the possible engage from Garlic Bread Mafia Academy. The Zaya ulti, the Poppy, both the ulti, the hammer, can mess up the hard engage from Garlic Bread Mafia Academy, as well as the steadfast presence blocking the dashes from Yasuo, Ornn, Alistar, and and Echo. Sorry. So yeah, it doesn't look like it will be as easy as just pressing Aros on Jarvan and Seraphine. And let's see how it goes. I'm definitely giving some edge to Esports Wales this time, because based on the previous game, seeing how well Long Willy Man has played in the top side, as well as you said, a lot of disengage, a lot of mobility and self-peel from champions on Esports Wales, I think their comp looks a lot better. Although if they get caught by the Wombo combo, it's gonna be really hard to survive.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. And something else I'm a bit worried about for the side of Garlic Bread with this specific team comp is obviously their lack of range. And whilst Wales don't necessarily have the best wave clear with LeBlanc, Zaya is very, very good at wave clearing, and it could be an issue when it comes to these later game kind of stall outs where they're looking to siege. They kind of have to fight, right? They don't have the option to siege properly because only Orianna can be hitting the tower at range. So it can be very difficult for Garlic Bread to actually take over this game if they do even get an advantage, because taking towers and objectives will be a lot harder. But like you said, if they do manage to get a catch, and they have multiple ways to catch champions with the Alistar, with the Ornn, with the Orianna ult, if they do get caught by these 3 or 4 man shockwaves, or the classic Ornn Horn knocks out 3 or 4 champions, Yasuo will really get a chance to pop off, and Echo, obviously very versatile when it comes to engaging and disengaging. So there is potential for some great team fighting, but I'm definitely on your side with this one. I do believe that Wales has the edge.
Yeah, and again, one champion that Harry doesn't get to play a lot, the LeBlanc in his hands. Let's see if he can show us similar performance to his Akali from last game.
Yeah, I'd like to
I'm
see it.
really
I mean,
excited to see that, yeah.
yeah, exactly. With his Akali, he did take the teleport and sacrificed a bit of lane pressure and still did very well with that. So if he has the LeBlanc with teleport again, which I think is definitely the play into an Orianna who just wants to kind of sit back and farm, you can just push his advantage and move around. And he was very, very proactive with his movement throughout the map. He was never sat still in mid lane. He just moved bot and top lane whenever he could and really just helped out his jungler. And I think with the Trundle as well, the 2v2s in the early game are definitely going to go to the side of to Wales, sorry. So it'll be interesting to see how much Harry can kind of pressure from his champion.
Yeah, one thing that I'm not entirely sure is how the matchup in the bot lane goes, but now we see the Poppy who can block the Alistar engage, which should make Zandiar's life much easier than, because as an AD carry player, if you see Yasuo and Alistar on the opposing team, you're probably a little bit scared, but he has a lot of protection this time.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Obviously, Poppy, whilst in theory is very strong into this lane, it's also very much a timing issue in making sure Poppy is currently pretty much consistently always positioned well. Taking the Guardian over the Aftershock as well is something that is a bit interesting, but Alistar also having the phase rush means that he's going to be a bit of a wet blanket for a fair amount of this game.
Yeah, and we are in game, waiting for the sync up. We don't really see any spicy runes or summoner setups. Although Harry does have the ignite this time, so he wants to get the lane pressure. He wants to look for the 1v1. Oh, and we
We've
have
got a pause straight away before we even get to our 10-second landmark. So just gonna sit through this pause for a second. We got a bit of lag.
But yeah, Harry is looking to pop off this time even harder with the ignite. Looking for the 1v1s in lane. He didn't really look for them that much in the previous game. More of a hero on top, hero on bot. Got some kills here and there. So yeah, and this time he just wants to kill his lane opponent.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I'll be quite interested to see, like you said, I'm very excited for this bot lane matchup because I think this is going to be the most temperamental matchup. We're kind of expecting Long Willy Man and Harry to have the advantage in these lanes, obviously with Harry taking the ignite as well, just making him a lot stronger of a presence in this lane. But the bot lane is going to be very temperamental and it can definitely go either way and it will sway the matchup massively, especially if Garlic Bro can get a couple of early dragons under their belt.
Yeah. And let's see how long the pause will take this time. Remember, it's not a VL series without some pauses.
Of course, yeah.
There's
everyone obviously playing from their home PCs, having some issues all around. It does happen, unfortunately, but it's not something that can't be fixed. So we're just going to hope that this pause resides relatively quickly, as the last one did.
A summoner has
Oh,
disconnected.
and there we go. We got a nice little disconnection from Alistar there. I assume that's him sorting out his internet as well. Yeah, we just got to wait it out, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's, as you said, people playing for their homes. Some internet issues are bound to happen. every now and then. Yeah, this has been definitely a little bit of a rocky start to our season, but
Yeah, the way we've got to look at it is we get all the issues out the way now, and then for the rest of the
Yeah,
season it'll be
that's-
smooth sailing.
that's a really good way to looking at it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, great.
And then if we have the same issues next week, then we can address that separately and pretend this week didn't happen. So
Yeah, I really like. Which I really like how you're looking at this. So as we said, it's a wombo combo team comp versus a disengaged team comp. We really like Esports Wales, what they have shown us in the previous game, what they have shown us in draft this time, whether they can be patient and play around their disengaged tools is gonna be the one thing they have to care about. Using the Featherstorm, the Steadfast Presence, the Pillar, and the Poppy ulti at the right times, just so Garlic Breath Mafia can never actually get the full engage on them.
yeah,
We see Chovers reconnecting.
and yeah, like
Hopefully.
we're gonna be paying a lot of attention, I think, this game to Trundle. Like being able to see him use his pillars correctly and not just throwing them out every time it's off cooldown, making sure he's actually blocking, like he can block Alistar engage, he can block a Yasuo dash, he can block the Ornn ult, and also just with his ultimate as well, like I said, without the Alistar having Aftershock, obviously, kind of mitigating some of Trundle's efficiency against him, but still with his ultimate he gains a lot of damage reduction, and reducing his armor, magic resistant health will just help massively against the Trundle who has that damage reduction. So Trundle is actually going to be a big pillar in this game to whether or not Wales have an easy time, I think.
Also, one thing that I believe can have a lot of value on the side of Garlic Breath Mafia can be actually the Yasuo Wind Wall blocking the Xayah feathers, which can do a lot of damage, especially if you're a hard engaged team comp looking to go straight in. The Xayah feathers can mess you up really hard.
Yeah, definitely.
After the Feather Storm, so that's one thing that we can also look at, how Respire uses his Wind Wall.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that Respire can obviously do if he's a well-practiced Yasuo player, which it seems that he is being able to win ball backwards. And it does look like they've readied up, but are we going to pause or are we just going to go straight in?
We put pause. I'm waiting for prediction. Oh. I believe there might be some issues again.
Yeah, I think it's just the pause bug again that we had.
Okay. Let's see what happens. And it looks like we're back.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Yes. In 10 seconds. Sorry. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, and jumping into the rift here. This time the Xayah has bought items, so it's definitely a better sign for the laning phase here. Definitely wants to have the items. This time Yasuo hasn't bought any items.
Oh. On my yeah, Yasuo has items. Ornn actually hasn't bought items.
Okay,
I think, although Ornn, as we know, Ornn is still in base. I'm not sure what's going on this time.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Yeah, I currently believe then I have a bit of a spectator bug because I have 3 champions without any items. So we'll just let that play out, and obviously, hopefully it'll update as they buy items here. But it looks like Wales are looking for an invade here. I like this level 1 invade, obviously with the Poppy, with the knock against the wall. Makes it very difficult. Yasuo, is he paying enough attention? Respire, getting run down here by Long Willy Man. The Vital is on the right side for him, so potentially might be looking for something. Can he get the flash over the wall or anything? No, there was a bad knockup from Poppy, and Poppy does struggle with that a bit there, and burns a flash for a flash. Definitely in favour of the Poppy there, obviously.
Yeah, support flash for AD carry flash, always worth for you. And yeah, other than that, we don't really see anything more. Let's see what the Ornn will actually do with starting the lane without any items, which is really interesting. Although maybe, as you said, maybe it's the spectator bug on this.
Yeah, I also got Fiora with no items either, so I think it is potentially a spectator bug. But we'll have to see, like we said, once champions start to buy items, hopefully it will sort itself out. But Ornn obviously has been known before to not buy any items, to go for like an early something with a refillable pot.
Oh yeah, I looked up at the stream edit. He actually only has refillable pots, so...
Yes, there we go. Like, mine has just all refreshed itself. So Ornn has a refillable pot, nothing else, so he'll probably be buying an early Doran's shield. Fiora has the Doran's blade, and Yasuo has a Doran's shield as well. Doran's shield on the Yasuo obviously being a bit strange because he does have the Conqueror, not the Fleet, so it seems that he's a bit mixed up of whether he wants to be aggressive or not. But we'll have to see how that works out.
Yeah, and let's see how long Willyman will handle the Ornn this time. If you don't respect the Ornn damage early game, it can get really scary for the Fiora.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and a great trade there from Fiora already, hitting multiple vitals and just slapping the Ornn about a little bit. Obviously, Ornn not yet building his Doran's item means that he's taking a bad trade from the start, and now he has built his Doran's shield. He should be a bit tankier. Obviously, with the update to Ornn a while ago, it's not as efficient as it used to be. You don't get the instant HP, but he will get the regen from the passive of it, so...
Yeah, it looks like this time I'm having some spectator issues, but we hope it will sort themselves out.
Yeah, I just, if you click on the timeline where it is, it updated for me. It'll refresh itself and hopefully that'll be it. But yeah, as we just work this out slowly, obviously not much going on right now. Echo does have a slight farming advantage with his buff to damage the jungle creeps, so that's expected against the Trundle, who obviously doesn't want to clear. But just Harry getting a nice combo onto the Orianna, already doing some big damage, dodging out on the QW dissonance from Orianna. So great trade so far. But Ornn is definitely beating up this Fiora a little bit. I don't think Fiora is as well practiced into this matchup. It is a bit of an old school matchup, so interesting to see. But Xayah and Poppy doing very well on the spot side.
Yeah, Xayah just farming out versus the Yasuo. Definitely nice.
A really nice riposte from Fiora there, getting almost the kill. The flash for the flash. Fiora unfortunately didn't get the auto attack on the Vital, so Ornn does get away, and he will be able to sustain up with his Doran shield and refillable.
Yeah, still a long Willyman. Once again, we're seeing him taking over in the top side. And this time he has, I would say, a better matchup than versus the Irelia.
Oh, and just Harry going in for a little 1v2 there, getting the ignite down on the Orianna, having to burn the flash just for an ignite. But Orianna does have teleport here, so this could potentially not be as good as Harry thought it was originally.
Yeah, so once again, both of the solo laners showing up, taking over their lanes, making it a little bit of a lane diff in the teams. And here we might see a dive in the top side.
Yeah, but can you dive an Ornn is the question. Like, it's very, very brave to dive an Ornn. Does he get the 1-for-1 trade? No, Trundle does have Triumph, so he's going to heal up just enough to get out of that tower range. And that is a great early tower dive. The Ornn played that pretty much as well as he could, but unfortunately he just got too low, didn't respect it, and could have recalled and teleported, but instead takes the loss, puts Fiora ahead in the early game again, and not being able to instantly get that Bramble Vest on the first back is going to put him at a massive disadvantage.
Yeah, and already Fiora with the Iron Spike Whip gonna hurt. He's tipping straight back to top lane, wants to keep up the pressure. And Jamie BBK taking over Echo's top side, getting some counter jungle going. That's definitely nice for him.
Yeah, and Orianna stepping down into this bot side, potentially just looking for something here. A bit of desperation after, obviously, not even burning the TP after dying. And Alistar gets the engage here, but is it going to be enough? He's got the phase rush. He's running around like an absolute madman. Yasuo puts on the windmill, denying any damage from Xayah, but not enough to kill them. And that's just going to allow LeBlanc to push out the wave. And the CS lead already in this mid lane is absolutely catastrophic for Orianna.
Yeah, the level advantage for Harry, the CS advantage as well, pretty strong. Yuki looking for a play in the bot side, but like taking into account the lane position, it shouldn't have worked.
Exactly, and Harry just taking some great trades here. And obviously last game, one of the things is that there was a nice trade, but in the top side here, Toast Crumbs does go for the engage onto Long Willy Man, easily baited by the riposte, gets the stun onto the Ornn, and with the Trundle walking up, getting a easy kill there with the slow and the pillar.
Yeah, and again, it's Long Willy's game to win at this point. He has the advantage, he has the favorable matchup. So let's see how much damage he can do in the side lane this time.
Yeah, and this time, obviously, the Ornn not even having a chance at matching the Fiora. The difference was the last time Irelia still has some room for outplays, but at this point, Toast Crumbs already being super far behind, just not feeling himself today, maybe having a bit of an off day on his comfort pick, and then playing something that he doesn't play much, and just not having the experience in this matchup makes it super difficult for them to do anything.
Yeah, and now we see advantages in lanes for every lane from Esports Wales other than the jungle, which is, as you said, understandable. Echo is just looking to full clear. And let's see what he can do, because soon he will have to look for something, because the lanes might start spiraling out of control.
And here we go, and this is what we see about the Echo being grounded, but still getting a nice engage onto the Poppy here. Is they going to be able to kill him? Poppy flashes behind for a little insect. And nothing comes of that, but it is a flash for a flash. A good flash from Poppy there to pull Echo under the tower so quickly as well. It was almost an instant reaction from him to do that.
Yeah. The Ganga at least accomplishes getting 2 flashes from the bot lane.
Yeah, and Oriana missing the shockwave there. The LeBlanc very slippery, very hard to time, but a great reaction from Harry as well to not get caught in that and to know where his dashes are going to take him back to.
Yeah, Harry styling a little bit once again.
Yeah, and he's going to keep pushing his lead. I was going to say last time, the trade-off for him roaming was that the Victor was getting ahead in XP until obviously Harry completely took over and his team pushed the lead even further. But this time, Harry not even sacrificing CS or XP for his advantage. So it's good to see that he's also able to play his lane very well without roaming and not having to pick up kills to dominate his lane.
Yeah, and really nice wave management from Long Willy Man, just not letting the Ornn get any farm whatsoever.
Yeah, definitely, and with Ornn's obviously all of his abilities pretty much an area of effect, and here we go, Fiora's looking for an engage, he takes the Grand Duelist. Toast Crumbs, you need to stand against the wall, my friend, because otherwise Fiora is just going to run you down with the Conqueror. Decides not to go for it in the bot lane at the same time. Poppy engages on the Alistar. Like I said, he is a bit of a wet flannel at the moment, not having his ultimate or Aftershock, but nothing comes of either, just some good trades across the map.
And the chain lands as well. Trades all over the place, and in all of the trades, Esports Wales is having an advantage, which really doesn't look good for Garlic Bread Mafia Academy. They are already down this series. You want to see something from this team.
That is very true, but obviously, like we spoke about at the start of this game, one of the big things that we're looking at this comp is the Wombo combo. So as long as they don't fall too far behind, and 2k already is a big amount to be behind at 9 minutes, but it's not the end of the world because their team fighting is where they're really going to come to life in this game. So we got to hope that Wales Esports, if we are rooting for them, does manage to actually play these team fights as well as they're playing their laning phase.
Yeah, it looks like at least they might get the Earthquake, which is that's not necessarily something you want to trade for. Although Esports Wales might be looking to contest. No, they will just take them. They will just take the tower plates.
I actually respect this because I don't think that Wales Esports has any worries about their team comp being outscaled. They have very good scaling with the Xayah, with the Fiora obviously in the side lane, so giving up that and getting Harry further ahead with that Rift Herald and just more pressure on the mid lane where they clearly are leaking a fair amount is something that I do actually agree with.
Yeah, and we could say that Garlic Bread Mafia had the rotation first on the Dragon, and it's just a cloud break, so not the biggest deal to lose.
Exactly, and here we go, the Xayah gets stunned, uses a feather already and manages to get out. But is there going to be a 1-for-1 trade here? The Poppy is being very aggressive. There's not a knock-up yet. Echo ults the Poppy. And can the Trundle trade here? Flashes on top of the Echo, and that is a 2-for-1. So not the worst in the world, but obviously Harry is here. He is ready. Actually gets his dash cancel with his ultimate, but he is just confident with his chain. Manages to hit an instant kill onto the Alistar, and that's a 2-for-2 in the end. So not the worst, but a good show of what Garlic Bread can do in this game.
Yeah, one thing we have to upload Esports Wales is again collapsing really well on the gank, and Zanidar and Zephyr absorbing a lot of pressure. Even though they died, they bought enough time for the jungler and the mid laner to arrive and clean up. So
Exactly, and as the game goes further on, obviously Xayah is going to be even more safe with that ultimate cooldown reduction she got given a couple of patches ago. And it looks like Long Willy Man potentially looking to fight the Ornn again. Is he going to fully engage? No, he's just going to get his Conqueror up together and leave it alone.
Yeah, and at this point, it's a really scary 6k gold advantage for Esports Wales at 12 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And with that goal advantage, they are just going to keep pushing their lead. Giving up that first Drake, like you said, was definitely the right call. Getting more gold onto their carries. Trundle already having the Divine Sunder, and while Echo does have Proto Belt, the Trundle having this item that just shreds tanks already on top of his ultimate is going to be so difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and oh, my item still didn't update, so thanks for updating.
Oh yeah, no, that's no worries at all. Yeah, we've got LeBlanc obviously having our Ludens here. Long Willy Man not actually got a gold drinker yet. I assume he's very close to it. If not, he could probably buy it on this back. Ornn obviously having the Bramble Vest, as we're seeing, the grievous wounds being applied to the Fiora, but she just doesn't care anymore. Like, she's at a point now where every vital heals more than the Bramble Vest deals and reduces. So Long Willy Man in a very good spot, but Ornn is obviously getting closer and closer to his item upgrades, which could potentially tip the balance. But Harry is just being very aggressive in this mid lane. It looks like Poppy's going to go for an engagement, misses.
And let's see if they are gonna look for any re-engage. Nice route on the Yasuo.
Yeah, just shutting down anything. And here we go once again. BBK and Long Willy Man looking for it, but can they even do it in time? No, the Ornn ult just flies straight past them, and now Echo is actually looking for a Long Willy Man, but has to back off because they're just too strong in the 2v1 situation. And now Echo is potentially looking to get dived. Obviously, he does have his ultimate, so this might actually be very risky. He's stalling for as long as he can. Kills Long Willy Man with a great ultimate, but now Orianna getting chased down by Just Harry. Just Harry hits the ultimate chain. Great predictive flash there from Just Harry, just absolutely shutting down the Orianna. And are they going to re-engage onto the off-meta best meta here on the Echo? Obviously, Just Harry missing, but managing to hit the chain. And now Just Harry tanking. Oh my goodness, Just Harry actually getting taken down, not walking out of tower range in time, but he does get the kill onto the Trundle. So good trades overall, and a absolutely beautiful flash from Just Harry to shut down that Orianna.
Yeah, that was really well played by Harry in the beginning, but then sadly staying in the tower aggro a little bit too long, but still a really good play. Oh,
and another flash engage. It's very telegraphed from the spot lane. Obviously, they only have one way of killing the Xayah, and the Xayah timing her ultimates really well so far.
Yeah, what I wanted to say is they are still getting the Fiora ahead. Maybe she died, and I believe all the shutdowns went on Echo, so that's something.
Yeah, definitely.
But it doesn't seem like, even though he got the kills, it doesn't look like off-meta best meta is getting anything done in this game. He has been in the right place, the right time at some points, but I don't think Echo will be able to do much.
Yeah, no, I feel like he's having to be very reactive with his top and mid lane being behind, and it's not how Echo wants to play. Echo wants to be the one forcing the engages, using his ultimates to tower dive and getting himself into a spot where he doesn't have to worry about like what the enemy team wants to do. And obviously here now we're going to see Wales and Garlic Bread both looking for stuff, and Just Harry with a great flank doing some big chunk damage, getting the electrocute. Nothing major going on right now, but just showing that they're not willing to give up the second dragon as easily as the first.
Yeah, and Long Willy Man looking for trades in the top side, not letting those scrums TP to the dragon. And that looks like it's gonna be an Infernal Break for Esports Wales.
Yeah, and I'd like to see Echo actually try and go for a steal here. Obviously, Poppy's going to ultimate him out potentially. What a great ultimate there. But Trundle slides early, but it doesn't matter. And are they going to look for the engage here? We got the teleport from Long Willy Man, and that's an instant kill from Just Harry. And now Fiora's going to go in. Great riposte there. But Yasuo gets like a 4-man knockup, but it doesn't matter because there's nobody else to back him up.
Yeah, they are getting some nice knockups. That was really a really nice knockup from Reprise, but there's just no damage on the side of Garlic with Mafia Academy, and they're gonna dive the tower again.
Yeah, and Alistar getting a nice trade kill here, and 1-for-1 there, obviously not worth it in the slightest. But Xayah didn't pick up the kill, and whilst Trundle is obviously quite fed right now, can be kited quite easily at times, so not necessarily the best for Trundle to pick up that kill, but he is becoming an absolute machine right now, just chomping on everyone in his path.
One thing, Ornn is getting back some gold, although I don't think it really matters at this point. The Fiora is just too far ahead, and she's gonna be able to do whatever the hell she wants. He is 2.4k ahead of the Ornn, so that's really rough for this matchup.
Exactly, and the only saving grace with that is that Ornn is going to get XP, and whilst he may be quite behind in levels and everything at the moment, his main goal right now is Alistar just gets engaged on the wet flannel that I spoke about. Just Harry doesn't manage to get the kill because of the locket. It's a great locket. Harry, disgusting dodge there on the Orianna distance, and it doesn't matter though, he does manage to run it out even with a phase rush. Just Harry is running away at some speed, manages to get out. And yeah, like I was saying, the only positive thing from the Ornn getting that XP is the fact he's closer to getting the mythic items, and that will start to balance out some of the gold deficit that they have at the moment.
Yeah, we've seen like Harry's just having a lot of fun this game. He's just styling on Garlic Mafia Academy. And me as a player in the same group, I'm a bit scared, not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, I think that definitely from what we've seen is that Long Willy Man and Harry need to be the ones to get banned out. We don't want to see that Fiora or Akali or LeBlanc. I don't think you have enough bans for them at the moment, but obviously taking them off those comfort picks would have probably been a great choice if Garlic Bread had the opportunity to. A bit unfortunate with obviously their banning situation, but yeah, just Harry, just every chance he gets, just making a mockery, just getting in their heads knowing that they just don't know what to do.
Yeah, they are throwing the second Herald mid. They will just do some damage. They can't really get anything going for them, sadly. And they're looking for a pick on the Orianna.
Yeah, the Orianna just being able to speed away. Obviously, having the phase rush available makes Orianna quite a versatile champion. And Long Willy Man actually just maybe baiting with the bad riposte here, but is he going to be able to get the kill? Ornn ults the wrong way with the Ornn Horn, doesn't auto-attack either, and Fiora gets the final vital, just proccing that into the Ornn and getting a free 1v1 kill there.
Yeah, and the matchup keeps getting worse and worse. We see that Long Willy Man slightly misplaying with the riposte, but it doesn't really matter. And another play coming on the other side of the
yeah,
map.
and Trundle ults the Yasuo here just to completely make him even weaker. Doesn't get a knock-up or anything, but a great ult from Echo there, hitting two people, but he just does not do enough. Trundle obviously being considerably tankier than he was previously by ulting the Echo, and just Harry jumping on top, flashing on top, and at the same time, Xayah gets one shot there by the Alistar Orianna, and this is exactly what we were talking about. Xayah is not safe, even with her Crowstorm up, and now Trundle is there just to pillar her away, but just Harry has absolutely no mana. Maybe he overextended. That is one last W there. He does W back as well. He's playing like Bobbin today, and he is going to be able to run away. He's still running out of this fight right now.
Yeah, I think he'll be able to get out. That's really nicely played by Harry. He's just styling, although they get a trade kill on the Poppy as well.
Yeah, it's really nice from the Echo there. One thing that people do have to realize about the Poppy W is whilst it does block the initial Echo dash, it doesn't actually block any blink, so he can blink directly to the Poppy in these fights. So not completely countering the Echo as well as it might have hoped, and that was why the kill game.
Okay, one question I have. Will Long Willy Man get the Flame Horizon? And if he will, at what point will he do that? How many minutes?
Oh, I'm not sure just yet. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm hoping for something spicy from him. I want to see this split push keep taking effect. And I want to see how they're going to deal with this as well, because Garlibro currently has no answers for the Fiora.
And one thing we have to pay our attention to, it's Mountain Soul. And you know what Mountain Soul is really good versus? A wombo combo team comes.
That is very true. Very, very true indeed. But at the same time, we've got to remember that obviously, if the other team get it, LeBlanc struggles massively into Mountain Soul because she loses her initial burst, and also Ornn gets so much efficiency from his items that already get upgraded. So if they can get a couple of Mountain Souls under their belt, they're going to be a very good spot. And I'd like to see it once again, Echo just going for a steal here, but at the same time, Harry's engaging onto the Orianna. There's just so much going on. And can off meta get it? No, he gets stunned against the wall. That's really great. He's going to have to ult out, but it's too late. He doesn't even get the ult over the wall. He just goes down. Doesn't manage to chrono break over the wall. And that is a kill and a Mountain Dragon for the side of Wales.
Yeah, definitely the nice try from off meta, best meta. At this point, when you're 14k down, I think going for steals is the only thing you can do.
Yeah, I think your gold hasn't quite updated. It is only a 7k gold lead currently. But that's absolutely fine. Yeah, currently now 8k ahead with that kill, just going on to Harry, onto the Orianna.
Yeah.
Quite disappointed at the moment as well that as Long Willy Man goes for another 1v2. Can he actually get it here? There's a lot of knockups going on. He doesn't have a riposte. Ornn doesn't get the knockup though, but Phase Rush Alistar showing why it is quite strong. But managing to run away, placing the ward down, actually giving Long Willy Man another dash out with a reduced cooldown, and Wales are just going to be on this Baron, and Garlic Bread being none the wiser.
Yeah, and that's another objectives going on the side of Esports Wales. I think this Nasher, if they keep going for the 1v1 with the LeBlanc and the Fiora, can do a lot of damage to their structures again. And I think, once again, Esports Wales just have to play it slow, have to play it controlled. And at this point, they can probably just slap them with their wallets, but you really don't want to throw, don't want to give any openings.
Exactly, especially with this Trundle obviously having...
Over.
Yeah, especially with the Trundle having a 600 gold shutdown. It's very risky for him to get in a position where he could be caught, but it just doesn't look like anyone's able to contest him at the moment. Even taking a tower shot or two, he's at a point now with the Sterix and the Divine Sundra where he can just kind of walk into people, and as long as he doesn't end, he should be pretty safe.
Yeah, let's see how much work will the Baron buff get done. At the moment, Esports Wales is not using it too effectively. Just getting some jungle camps. Playing a little bit of a ping pong with the enemy team.
Yeah, definitely, but they have already extended their gold lead to 10k with the Baron, so they are moving in the right direction. And like you said, they are playing slowly. They don't necessarily want to slap them with their wallets. It's good practice to make sure you can close out these games properly and efficiently, but I would like to see them right now in the lanes, pushing all the waves at the same time.
Yeah, and at the moment they are looking to secure some vision for the bot side, maybe looking to take over some more jungle camps. But no, they will just push out the mid, push out the top, push out the bottom. So yeah, let's see how well they can play the 1v1 if they're gonna get caught.
Yeah, and I do like the fact that the Tiamat obviously has been changed for the Fiora. No longer does splash damage on towers, making sure that she's not going to accidentally trigger any tower aggro. Fiora picking up obviously a 600 gold tower. There's tier 2s on the sides have been upgraded in how much gold they give, so more gold being funneled into Fiora, and this is going to start to extend the gold lead even further.
Oh, the LeBlanc poke is looking disgusting. Yeah, although at this point I feel like Fiora can just ignore the Ornn and just start hitting the tower right next to him.
Yeah, definitely. You can kind of see that all around as well. Xayah, even though she is just 1 and 2, still has so much safety around her with Poppy and Trundle. Fiora, as long as she doesn't die under the tower, can heal basically to full health off of every single minion wave. And then LeBlanc just being as slippery as always. And look, even every time Alistar walks up to the Fiora there, just nothing she can do.
Yeah, right now pushing out the Baron up minion waves, then gonna probably look to rotate for the another Drake. Trundle.
Yeah, Trundle getting engaged on here, and a nice little engagement. Then Poppy engages onto the Echo, knocking him against the wall. That's a 3-man knockup. This could be it potentially. Xayah having to use her Storm to get out, and Yasuo just getting taken very low. Xayah having to run for her life is going to get taken down there, but it's just too much. The Trundle is able to just walk through everyone. A great pillar there, stopping the Ornn, and now Harry engaging onto the Echo. Who's going to win that part of the fight? We're not sure yet. Echo quite low, and at the same time, Poppy fighting the Alistar in a 1v1, but Fiora joins the fight, absolutely dominating the fight, and that looks like it's probably going to be game.
Yeah, they get the pick. Oh wait, they got the pick on the Xayah, right? Sorry, because my death timer sounds so weak. Yeah, but I think Garlic Bread Mafia has gotten as good of an engagement as they could have. Sadly, that was not enough due to the golden advantage. And Yeah, Esports Wales once again will look to open up all the inhibitors. We see
Yeah.
some disconnects at this point. I'm not sure if that's
Yeah, it looks like
lag or something.
I don't think they haven't paused, so it looks like Respire may have just decided he's had enough. I mean, looking at that team fight, I can understand why it must be frustrating to have to deal with everyone just being so tanky that even when you get a 4-man Yasuo knock-up, it doesn't seem to be enough. But hopefully he'll come back in a second, it is just a bit of lag.
Yeah, the Trundle putting the team at the soul point. I don't really think this game will last long enough for us to see the soul.
No, neither do I. I think this is going to be the final push. Once again, with 3 inhibs down, it just seems to be that this will be the end. And blue team actually have agreed to surrender.
Agreed to surrender. That's yeah. Well, that happened. Once again, really well played, well controlled game from Esports Wales. The solo laners popping off. I would say all of the lanes pretty much just styling on their counterparts. Only person that was doing fine was off meta, best meta, catching a stray kill here and there. But yeah, sadly the lane diff was a bit too much in this game.
And I think that's something the Garlic Red can definitely take away because their team fighting in both games were great. So you definitely can't take away from the fact they played really well. It's just the laning phase, and I think if they can iron out some of their issues over the course of the season, then it's definitely won't be an issue at all for the next time these two teams match up, and I think it will be a lot closer. But massive props to Esports Wales just showing up, and like I said, the bot lane, while the score doesn't look anything compared to Harry's and BBK's, they still played really well. They absorbed so much pressure and kept the rest of the team busy while their solo laners got the advantages. Knowing that they were playing for that and playing for the win through the top side, they played really well to actually get themselves to a point where they were still relevant and absorbing as much pressure as possible.
Yes, and we'll have the interview with Zephyr, which is the support for the winning team of Esports Wales. So we will bring him in right now. Hello, Ben. Hello, Zephyr. Yeah, good job on the win. How are you feeling?
Yeah, pretty good. We didn't have our roster we've been practicing with. We did ask if they could reschedule, but they weren't able to, and then they had to unfortunately go with emergency sub anyway. So it didn't really work out for them either. But yeah, we all played really well as a team together. We've got quite a stacked roster with this roster that we have, even if we don't play together as a team as much. But yeah, I'm really happy with how my team played.
Nice. And were you happy with the fact that obviously the lack of bans this week allowed for you guys to kind of have your comfort picks and be able to play exactly what you wanted?
I'll be honest, when we came into this, because we only found out that we weren't going to have our usual jungler yesterday, we didn't know what we were going to play coming into this. I haven't played support for a while, and I don't think Mars has played jungle for a few weeks either. So we just kind of came in, looked at their draft, and just drafted around it. But yeah, it's always nice to have a more open roster, and everyone gets to play what they're comfortable on.
Yeah, so some pop-off performances from pretty much all around the roster. How are you feeling about your chances going further into the split?
We're actually feeling really good. So last split we burnt out a little bit towards the middle, and then all took a break and then came back, and we weren't sure if we were going to carry on with the usual roster. And then we had a couple of really good performances at the very end, and realized how much we do actually enjoy playing together when we're not playing 5-6 days a week. So we've decided to dial it back a little bit on the practices, keep everyone fresh, and yeah, we're in a really good mindset at the moment, especially after today.
Oh yeah, are you looking forward to facing anyone in your group? I'm just asking because I'm in the group.
I haven't looked too far ahead at the group, to be honest. We've got a coach who kind of looks at all the champions that everyone plays. The less I have to think about it outside the game, the better for me, honestly. So for me, I'm not too sure. There's a few returners. I think Fireflies are in our division. We always enjoy playing against them. They're usually a scrim partner of ours, so we're looking forward to that. We're really happy that we don't have to go against Rocket this time because they seem to be a mental block for us. Thankfully, they've gone from the division, so yeah, we're just taking it week by week and just enjoying it as it goes.
Yeah, the burnouts definitely can be a little bit of a struggle considering that the splits are pretty long at this point. Ra, any questions from you?
No, I just want to say a great performance. I really like I could see your guys' full process in the second game. Just every time they picked a champion, counteracting it with something else. So I just want to say I'm very impressed, and hopefully I get to shoutcast one of your games again because that was fantastic to watch.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, so good luck further into the split. We will see you. Actually, I will see you in the week 7 myself.
That's a
on the
long way
Rift.
away.
Yeah, that's a
Brilliant,
long
I'll look
way
forward
away.
to that.
And yeah, really well played by Esports Wales, showing up on the day, even though they didn't have their main roster. So that's really impressive. And I think this will be all from us tonight. Thank you very much, Ra, for casting with me. Thank you very much, Zephyr, for coming in. And thanks to production for coming in. And thank everyone for watching.
Yeah, thanks guys. It's been a pleasure casting with you guys for the first time, and I will see you again in the future.